Hey, it's me, Kathy. I had bought a while back from Misfits Market a pound of Pacific cod, and it's been in my freezer for quite some time. And I decided that I was going to make my once famous cod cakes. They sold like hotcakes at foodies markets when we had them in the cold case. And my very first cod cakes I made were, we had some fish and chips on a Friday night, and we had some left over. And I peeled a little breading off them and crushed up the fish, and I made fish cakes, and they came out amazing. And I've stayed with that recipe for, I don't know, it's got to be 25 years now or something, but today we're gonna make it, so let's do it. We're going to poach our cod, so I put it in a baking dish. As you can see, I've added a little bit of water. You can see that in there when I tip the pan, and season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Actually, I'm going to use a little bit more. Make sure it's nicely seasoned. And we're going to cook that. It'll probably take about 15-20 minutes for that cod to cook. And before we put it in the oven, we're going to cover it with some foil. And this makes nice, moist fish to build our cod cakes with. Our fish is out of the oven. It didn't take 15 minutes. It took 30. But when the fish flakes, it's done. And we're gonna let this cool, and then we're gonna make our cod cakes. My cod cakes begin with a Mirepoix fried in a, not fried, but softened in a pretty hefty amount of butter. And that gives some body and some tightness to the cod cakes. So when this gets all melted, we'll do our Mirepoix. I messed up. Actually, the first step is our fish that we poached, and now our Mirepoix. Celery, carrots, onions, in we go. We may not need this much, but if we have some left over, we can use it for another purpose. And we will season this with some salt and pepper. And when these vegetables are very soft, we're going to set them aside and incorporate them into our cod cakes. I still have some of those hamburger buns left over from when the kids were here, so we're going to make fresh breadcrumbs for our cod cakes. And that's going to be nice. We're going to rip them into pieces and drop them in the food processor. We're going to pulse these until they have breadcrumbs. And those will be our fresh breadcrumbs. So here they are, our nice fresh breadcrumbs. Our vegetables are starting to get softening up now. And our fish cakes need to be moist, so the first thing we're going to do, and this is moistens them up and binds them up. We're going to add a couple of eggs to a bowl. And beat them up. Followed by some mayonnaise. That'll do. Some Dijon mustard. Flavor, flavor, flavor. Some Worcestershire sauce. Some hot sauce. Some lemon juice. And we're going to mix that all together. I haven't made these cod cakes in so long that I forgot that I chop up the Mirepoix real fine in the food processor before I cook, so they don't compromise the shape and the form of the cod cakes. It just blends in and adds flavor. So I'm going to chop them up now. So they're all chopped up, and all I can say about myself is duh. You should smell these. Oh my gosh, it's no wonder they call them aromatics. So we are going to pulse them. Now they're a good consistency, and here we go, we're ready to build. Okay, so in our bowl that we've mixed our mayonnaise and mustard and salt, you know, Worcestershire sauce and all that stuff, I took that out of there because I think that I did too much for the amount of fish that I have. So what we're gonna do now is take our poached cod, and we're gonna bust it up Next we're going to add in our Mirepoix. I don't think we need all this. That should do. And I'm going to put a little more of our seasonings in here, our mayonnaise and etc. Okay, here comes our breadcrumbs to hold these cakes together. I don't know how much we're going to need, but let's try this much. And get in there and see if we can get them to hold together. This is a good consistency, and now we are going to shape our cod cakes. You know, I was going to use a big scoop, but then I decided that I think I want to do these with a small scoop. So you want to press them right in there so they really get formed into the shape of the scoop, and then drop them down on our pan. We're going to continue that with all of this fish mix. Okay, once we've portioned them, you want to pick one up, roll it into a ball very gently. You just need to sort of not touch it as much as possible. You don't want to because it'll just fall apart. And then pat it into a patty and round it out. Press it down on this and round it out if you're more comfortable doing that. And we're going to continue to do this with all of these. Okay, here are cod cakes all formed up. Now we're going to bread them and fry them. For my outside crumbs, I like to use a mixture of breadcrumbs and Ritz cracker crumbs. It gives it a little bit of butteriness and saltiness and makes it real good. We're going to pulse up our cracker crumbs and mix them with our breadcrumbs right now. One pulse. Fresh breadcrumbs, Ritz cracker crumbs mixed together. And then we're going to blend them up. Put them on a plate and bread our cod cakes. These don't need any flour or eggs because they're very moist. And so right in the crumbs we go. Pat, 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 side, side. Flip them over and do it again. And now we're going to repeat that with all of them. And then they're going in the frying pan. Okay, we're all breaded up. What we want to do first though is put them in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to let them set up and congeal so they don't fall apart when we fry them. We are about to fry our cod cakes, and before we do, we're gonna make us a souped up tartar sauce. Well, spiced up tartar sauce. And so we're gonna use, relish, duh, and mayonnaise. And then we're going to put just a little bit of chipotle and adobo puree, which will give it a kind of a smoky, spicy flavor. And I think that's about enough. And we're going to whisk that together. And then we're going to fry our cod cakes. We're heating up some canola oil in a frying pan, and I'm waiting for it to get hotter so it browns up the outside of our cakes. Our oil is ready and our cakes are going in. I think I can fit them all. I'm so happy I didn't know I was going to be able to do that. They might be a little hard to flip this close together, but put them all in one batch. When you see these start to turn brown around the edges, then we're going to flip them over and cook the other side. Don't forget that all the ingredients in these cakes are already cooked, so you don't have to worry about anything being raw, except for the eggs, but they're incorporated. I have flipped them over. They're nicely browned on one side, and I turned the heat up a little bit because I want them a little crispier. So when I take them off, I'm going to flip them over to the crispier side, and that'll be very soon. Okay, I'm going to take these off now because I have achieved optimum crispiness, and I'm going to bring them up close so you can see, and then we'll serve them with our sauce. Okay, out of the pan and up in your face. You can probably see more of them this way. And they look great. They're going to taste great. And let's have a bite. Here are our cod cakes all plated up. And whoops, the lemon wanted to evacuate. Let's put that back so it looks pretty. And that's the only reason it's there for. I'm not a big lemon squeezer on my fish. But those are cod cakes. And it was a good trip down memory lane for me. I wanted to show you a bite, show you what it looks like inside. It's flaky and moist. And I put some of the sauce on top, as you notice in the picture, but that's my bite, and it's going in. No wonder people like those so much. Really so good, and I hope you make them. I hope you like them, and thank you very much for joining me to play with my fish and play with whatever else goes in there, my vegetables and ingredients. And thanks again. See you soon.